Welcome back to Cocoknits. I am going to show you how to fix a mess like this. So this again, we've got dropped stitches. This time I have multiple drop stitches and I'm also in pattern stitch. And this may just freak you out and you might just rip back to this point, but I am going to show you how, if you want to try picking this up without having to rip back, how you would do it. So the first thing you want to do is, we really only want to work with one stitch at a time. So you can either catch these guys on a little spare DPN, you can use something like these little split ring markers, just catch them so they're not going to drop any further down. If you're really worried, you can use an actual opening stitch marker that locks, if you really want to be diligent about it. Something that will just keep them where, at least that's not going to get any worse while we first concentrate on picking up just this first one here. So as in the video with garter stitch, what we want to do is first come from the front toward the back and pick up the first loop that we can get into. And like I say, ignore these guys for now. All right, so at least we've got it secured. Next step is to figure out whether we need to knit or purl the stitch. And I have worked seed stitch here, and in seed stitch, every purl is knitted and every knit is purled. So every time you work a row, you're working the opposite of what you did in the row before. So that kind of makes it fairly easy to figure out what we need to do. So if you look at this stitch that we've just picked up here, that is a purl because the bump is right underneath our stitch fixer, as it would be right underneath your needle if you were knitting this. So we know that's a purl, therefore the stitch that sits up on top of this needs to be a knit. And again, in order to knit, and this is the same as the other fix-it videos, pick a side along here and just concentrate on each of these bars at a time and pick them up in order, right? So we know this needs to be a knit, and so I'm going to go from behind and just make sure that I've got the very next bar. I'm going to go from behind and scoop it toward the front. All right, so now I've made a knit stitch on top of that. Now I know I need to do a purl, so I'm going to find my next bar, go completely behind it, right? So I've put my stitch fixer in front of that bar, and I'm going to pull it up through my stitch. Okay, next one up needs to be a knit. So I'm going to go behind. Again, I'm making sure that I've got the next bar, go behind, pull it through to the front. Now I've made a knit. Next one has to be a purl. So again, get all the way in front of it and pull that bar from the front toward the back up through, and now we've made a purl. Next one needs to be a knit. So again, we're going to scoop up the bar and bring it through. And if these start to get really loose, just use your fingers. Pull it through to the front. I've made a knit. The last one needs to be a purl. So again, I'm going to put this all in front, get the bar below, and pull it from the front toward the back. Ta-da! First one picked up. And again, when you're done, you're going to take your left needle and put it through the front of that stitch. And we've got that one done. Okay, next one over. Here it is. We're going to take it off of our little holder. And again, come from the front and pick it up. And then you look at it and say, it is a purl. The bump's running right underneath. And in seed stitch, it's every other row. So again, I know that I need to knit this stitch. So go from behind, pull it over as a knit, which means the next one needs to be a purl. So I'm going to go in front of it and pull and make sure I don't split. Pull it through as a purl. The next one I'm going to pull up as a knit. Again, go completely in front so that the bar is underneath and in front of the stitch, and pull it from the front toward the back. That's a purl. And this last one is going to be a knit. So I'm just going to pull it right from the back toward the front. Slip it onto my left needle. Done. Last one. Come from the front. And now we look at this one. That one is a knit. See how the purl bump is not directly under the needle, it's one down. That means that one had just been knitted, which means our first pull up is going to have to be as a purl. So again, I'm going to go along here and make sure I get the very first bar, and I'm going to just go behind it and put the whole bar underneath my stitch and pull that stitch up through it from underneath. Okay, so that one was pulled up as a purl, which means the next one needs to be a knit. So I'm going to pull it from the front, or from the back toward the front. Next one up, and this is where you can see it would be really easy to sort of pull up the wrong thing if you didn't open that up and make sure you catch the next bar up. And we just knitted that one, so this one needs to be a purl. So again, I'm going to go all the way in front of it, pull it from the front toward the back, up through, oops, the stitch. Next one needs to be a knit. Last one needs to be a purl. Okay, put the left needle into the front as you transfer it over. And look at that, all fixed. It's really not too bad if you just don't freak out. Do one stitch at a time and pick them up, and you should be good. Have fun with it.